scientists and engineers need numerical values. You need to know which bit values to drive into your display to get a particular color. You have to know which dot percentages to put down in your paper to get a particular color. You have to be able to measure a color and know whether somebody is impinging on your brand color and logo and things like that. So, I mean, those are all valuable and necessary. But there's another aspect of color, and that is the way people, again, think about it in a much more qualitative language sense. So we thought, is there an opportunity here to bridge this gap, to bridge between the qualitative way people think and describe and talk about color and the quantitative way in which many of our devices and machines communicate and talk about and render color and produce color. So we're trying to bridge that gap between the qualitative and the quantitative, the mind and the machine. So we're trying to get customer feedback. We call this customer-led innovation. So there's a site called Open Innovation. It has a couple of things on it, one of which is this natural language color. So if you go to the natural language color, see these are some of the people actually writing the code back in Webster. You can try it now. When you try it now, you'll come into a site that looks like this. So in this particular case, I've got a picture of Karen and her daughter. Karen's one of the color scientists working on this. And you look at that image and you say, it's not quite what I wanted. To you, does it look like it has a kind of an overall magenta-ish, orangish cast to it? So you can, rather than going into something like Photoshop and going into layers and then finding the magenta layer and adjusting the tone curve, you can just say, well, let's make all colors considerably less magenta, and add that command in. And now when you execute that command, you get that. So you've just made all of your colors considerably less magenta. You could do other things as well. So now that you've got this, you can say, well, the skins don't quite look punchy enough for me or something. So let me also go and make all skin tone colors. So this is where we're in that realm now of describing what color you want to change. And we had a lot of interest in going from a research prototype to an offering of how much choice do you give people here. If you give people an open-ended list, then we have to be willing to process anything they give us. If you give them a list of just 300 names, they'll never want to look through 300 names. So we kind of go back and forth of how much richness can you offer but still have it manageable. And we came up with a list of basic colors plus some things like foliage greens, skin colors, sky blues, some common ones that people would probably care about. So let's make all the skin tones. In this case, we're going to go the other direction. We're going to go considerably more, and we'll make them, we can make them zippy or yellow or whatever. We'll make them bright, I guess. We'll make all skin tones considerably more bright. Add that command in the list and apply the changes. And you see now that just the skin tones brightened up. The background here did not. It was just the skin tones that brightened up. So you're able to select out which parts, which colors, which regions, and things like that you want to change as you go through this. And as I said, and you've got this list over here, so you can continue to do things like add and subtract things off. You can move them up or down and get different effects that you want. So over time, you can learn what types of what the scaling is for things like moderately more or considerably more. We can take all skin tone colors completely gray, add that to our list, and get rid of the other things from the list, just to see what happens. And wow, it turns them deathly. But it didn't affect so much the colors of the shirts or the backgrounds, but it really got their skin tone. So you can do all kinds of these types of things. We kind of look at this, and there's lots of places we could go next. And what we'd like to understand from customers is which directions do they find most valuable? Which demands do they have on us to spend our time investing in to modify and add to the tool and make it richer and more valuable for them?